It was supposed to be just another ordinary afternoon for 14-year-old Jaden. Walking home from school, he noticed something lying on the sidewalk, a worn-out leather wallet. He picked it up, flipping it open to find an ID and several folded bills inside. The wallet belonged to an elderly man named Mr. Thompson, who lived just a few streets away. Without a second thought, Jaden decided to do the right thing. He walked over to the address, knocked on the door, and when the old man answered, he handed the wallet back with a polite smile. Mr. Thompson, surprised and grateful, thanked him and patted his shoulder. Jaden didn't think much of it after that. He felt good about helping someone, but by the next morning, everything changed. A loud knock at the door startled him and his mother. She opened it to find two police officers standing outside. Their serious expressions sent a chill through the air. Jaden's stomach tightened as one of the officers asked, "Is this your son?" His mother nodded, confused. Then the officer looked directly at Jaden. "We need to talk." Jaden's mind raced. Had he done something wrong? Was this about the wallet? His hands grew clammy as he exchanged a nervous glance with his mom. The neighbors peeked out from their windows, watching the scene unfold. The officers weren't saying much, but their presence alone made it clear. This wasn't just a friendly visit. Something was very, very wrong. Jaden swallowed hard as his mother stepped protectively in front of him. "What is this about?" she asked, her voice steady but laced with concern. The officer exchanged a glance with his partner before pulling out a small notebook. "There's been a report," he said carefully. "We need to ask Jaden some questions." Jaden's heart pounded. A report? About what? He had never been in trouble before. His mother hesitated but finally stepped aside, letting the officers into their small living room. Jaden sat down on the couch, his hands gripping the edge. The officer crouched to his level. "Yesterday, did you return a wallet to an elderly man?" he asked. Jaden nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. I found it on the sidewalk and gave it back to him." The officer jotted something down. "And did he say anything unusual to you?" Jaden frowned, thinking back. Mr. Thompson had been surprised but thankful, just like anyone would be after getting their lost wallet back. "No, he just thanked me." The officer closed his notebook, his face unreadable. "Mr. Thompson called us this morning. He claims something was missing from his wallet after you returned it." Jaden's breath caught in his throat. "What?" he stammered. "I didn't take anything. I swear." His mother's face hardened. "My son is not a thief." But the officers didn't look convinced. One of them stood up. "We'll need you to come with us, Jaden, just to answer some more questions." Jaden's hands trembled as he exchanged a glance with his mother. "I didn't do anything wrong," he whispered. She placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder before turning back to the officers. "He's just a kid," she said firmly. "You can ask him your questions right here." One of the officers sighed, glancing at his partner before sitting down again. "We just need to understand what happened," he said, his tone softer now. "Mr. Thompson claims there was a significant amount of cash in his wallet before he lost it. When he got it back, the money was missing." Jaden's stomach sank. He hadn't even opened the wallet, just picked it up and handed it back. But how could he prove that? "I swear I didn't take anything," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I saw it on the ground and gave it back right away." His mother folded her arms. "Did Mr. Thompson actually see Jaden take anything?" she demanded. The officer hesitated. "He says he's sure the money was there earlier," he said carefully. "And Jaden was the only one who returned it." Jaden felt the weight of their suspicion pressing down on him. This wasn't fair. His mind raced, trying to remember if anyone else had been nearby. and then it hit him. A man had been standing near the bench when Jaden found the wallet. Someone in a dark jacket who walked away quickly when Jaden picked it up. He took a deep breath. "I think I saw someone else near the wallet before I picked it up," he said slowly. "Maybe they took the money." The officers exchanged glances. "Can you describe them?" one asked. Jaden tried to picture the man's face, but all he could remember was the jacket, the hurried steps, the way he disappeared so quickly. His heart pounded. If he couldn't prove his innocence, what would happen next? Jaden's heart pounded as he tried to recall more details about the man in the dark jacket. The officers leaned in, waiting for him to speak. His mother's grip on his shoulder tightened, as if to remind him that he wasn't alone. "I didn't see his face clearly," Jaden admitted. "But I remember he had a dark jacket, maybe black or navy. And he was walking away fast, like he didn't want to be noticed." The officers exchanged a glance. "That could be something," one of them murmured. "Mr. Thompson was near a security camera when he lost his wallet. Maybe we can check the footage." Hope flickered in Jaden's chest, but it was quickly overshadowed by doubt. What if the cameras didn't catch anything? What if they still blamed him? He had done the right thing, and now he was being treated like a suspect. One of the officers spoke into his radio, requesting footage from a nearby business. The room felt unbearably quiet as they waited for a response. Jaden's mother exhaled sharply, clearly frustrated. "My son is a good kid," she said. "He doesn't deserve this." The officer nodded. "If he's telling the truth, the footage will prove it." Minutes felt like hours. Then a crackling voice came through the radio. "We've got something," the dispatcher said. "There's movement near the wallet just before the boy picks it up." Jaden's breath caught in his throat. "Is it him?" one officer asked. "We can't tell yet," the voice replied. But someone was definitely there before the kid. Jaden swallowed hard. The truth was coming, but would it be enough to clear his name? The room tensed as the officers exchanged glances. Jaden felt his stomach knot. If the footage proved someone else had touched the wallet before him, why were they still looking at him like that? One officer pressed his radio again. "Enhance the image. We need a clearer view." A long pause followed, filled only with the sound of Jaden's mother tapping her foot anxiously. Finally, the radio crackled. "We've got a better image, and you're not going to believe this." Jaden's heart pounded. His mother gripped his arm. The officer turned to them, his expression unreadable. "The man in the footage, it's Mr. Thompson." Jaden's breath caught. "Wait, what?" His mother frowned. "That doesn't make sense." The officer exhaled sharply. Mr. Thompson reached into his own pocket, pulled the wallet out, and then dropped it on the ground. It wasn't lost. It was left there on purpose. Jaden's head spun. Why would the old man do that? He had acted so grateful, even given Jaden a reward. But if he left it there intentionally, what was his real plan? One of the officers pulled out his phone, making a call. "Get Thompson in for questioning," he ordered. "Something about this doesn't add up." Jaden looked at his mom, confusion written all over his face. This wasn't just about a lost wallet anymore. Something bigger was happening, and for some reason, he had been caught in the middle of it. Jaden sat frozen, trying to process what the officer had just said. Mr. Thompson had left the wallet on purpose. But why? His mother squeezed his hand, her eyes full of concern. Before they could ask more questions, the police radio crackled again. "We brought Thompson in, and you're not going to believe what we found." The officer turned the volume up. "Go ahead," he said. "We searched his house. Turns out this wasn't about a lost wallet at all. He's been setting up different kids in the neighborhood, reporting them for things they didn't do. Jaden's mother gasped. But why? Why would he do that? The officer frowned. That's what we're trying to figure out. But it looks like he's been making complaints about certain kids to get them into trouble. The wallet incident was just another setup. Jaden's heart pounded. So he wanted me to take the blame for something. The officer nodded. Exactly. If you hadn't spoken up, we might have believed his story. Another officer walked in, shaking his head. Thompson finally admitted it. He was targeting kids he thought didn't belong in his neighborhood. Jaden's mother's face hardened. So he was trying to frame my son. The officer sighed. Yes. But thanks to Jaden doing the right thing, we caught him before he could do it to anyone else. Jaden exhaled, relief washing over him. He had thought he was in trouble, but in the end, his honesty had uncovered the truth, one that no one saw coming. Jaden sat on the couch later that evening, still trying to process everything that had happened. His mother sat beside him, rubbing his back gently. I'm so proud of you, she said. You didn't just do the right thing. You helped stop something bigger. The next day, news of Mr. Thompson's arrest spread through the neighborhood. Many parents were shocked, but some admitted they had always felt uneasy around him. The police confirmed that he had a history of making false reports, and now, with real evidence against him, he would be facing serious consequences. Later that afternoon, there was a knock on the door. Jaden hesitated before opening it, but when he did, he was surprised to see Officer Martinez standing there with a smile. I just wanted to check in, he said, and to let you know that what you did was brave. He handed Jaden a small box. Inside was a medal from the local police department, a recognition for his honesty and courage. Jaden's eyes widened. For me. You earned it, the officer said. A lot of people might have stayed quiet, but you stood up for yourself. That's what real strength looks like. As the officer left, Jaden looked at his mom, feeling a sense of pride he hadn't before. He had thought returning the wallet was just a small act of kindness, but it had turned into something much bigger. And in the end, doing the right thing had made all the difference.